Hey guys, I hope you are well. We're back today with another book review. A little bit of a setup change. I finally got my mic hooked up to my GoPro, so I don't have to project my voice as loud as I did in my previous video. So hopefully it's more clear, hopefully it's more concise, and hopefully I'll get to keep the setup around. But for today, we are reviewing Joyland by Stephen King. Very good book. Just let me say that right off the bat. Overall, I'd give it about a 5 stars. This was the 4th book I read this month. I also read Three Body Problem, Ministry of Time, Animal Farm, and then now I read Joyland, all in the month of June. And I'd say Joyland is probably my favorite. I did like Three Body Problem a lot, but Joyland is a close, I guess, tie with Three Body Problem. Three Body Problem I'd give about a 4.5 out of 5 stars. This one I'd give a full 5 out of 5 stars. It was beautifully written, perfect book. I loved it. It was a murder mystery case. So first off, let me just start off with the story synopsis. So story follows Devin. He starts working at a amusement park called Joyland. The story also follows a few things happening at the same time. So first off, the murder mystery part, there was a murder that happened a few years back at the park, I think about 10 years ago, and supposedly there is a haunted figure in one of the dark rides that they have at the amusement park. So that's sort of the mystery. Otherwise, the story follows this kid Devin, his heartbreak, his relationships with making new friends, relationships with an older woman, and yeah, it's just a bunch of stories here and there compiled up, but I really liked the way it was written. It wasn't just straightforward one concise story, but it was a few different stories coming all together. I really appreciated the writing. The main character is 21 years old, so I could definitely relate to some of the problems that he was having at the time. But yeah, I don't want to say too much. All I'm gonna say, it's a murder mystery case, crime type of book. It's got some gory details, some killings, this and that. But yeah, I highly recommend you guys just check this out for yourselves and give it a shot. Next, I wanted to talk about the genre. The genre of this book is, like I said, murder mystery, sort of crime work type of story. Yeah, I think this book would just fall into the mystery category. Not much adventure or fantasy going on. There is, a ghost, but not much other fantasy stuff going on. But yeah, murder mystery, and I think that's where I'll leave it for the genre. Philosophy and psychology of the book I really enjoyed because it follows a young man going from being a teenager into adulthood and the struggles that he faces throughout life. His girlfriend, he thinks, is cheating on him. He hasn't had sex with anyone yet, being 21 years old, which, if you're a guy, you'd understand is a bit of a rough thing to have on your belt. But it's just a very relatable story for us nerdy type of kids, type of boys, going from being kid to a teenager to adulthood and still not experiencing the regular quote-unquote things that most boys up until the age of 21, 22 have already done. But yeah, it's very enjoyable, relatable if you're a big book nerd. For guys and girls, there's a lot of female perspectives, female characters in this book as well, but I highly recommend it to male audience. The writing style and dialogue. The writing style is first person. So Devin is around 60 or 70 when he's writing this sort of novel, but he's telling a backstory, so it's sort of first person. He's telling a backstory on what had happened when he was 21, in the summer that he was 21. I think it follows, if I'm correct, the summer of 1973, I'm pretty sure. It's a pretty old school setting, but I totally loved it. I love these old school type of sceneries, type of books, because it was before all this facade of technology came in. Life was a lot simpler and had more, I guess, depth to it. Character design was beautiful as well. Like I said, I really enjoyed how the main character Devin was written. There's a few other a few other side characters that were written very well as well. He has two best friends that he also meets at the amusement park, and they also work with him throughout the summer. There is his landlady, who's one of the main supports in this novel. There's a few amusement people here and there, and everybody was written very precisely, very delicately. Everyone had their own backstory. Everyone had their own, sort of where they come from, what they are. And everybody was written very differently, which is what you want in a very good book. You don't want everyone to feel like they're bland in any way. And I did not feel that way about any character in this book. I felt everybody had their own little backstory. Everybody was very different, and you definitely have a favorite character in the book if you give it a shot. The vocabulary difficulty of this book was not difficult at all. I'd say it was about a 3 out of 10, maybe a 3.5 or a 4 out of 10. Not too difficult. I wasn't running to the dictionary to search up a lot of things. There were a few words here and there that I was having to look up in the dictionary, but that's me with every book, as my vocabulary isn't the best, but don't let that discourage you. Always good to go out and add new words to your vocabulary, search up words you don't understand. Don't ever feel discouraged to do that. But yeah, about a 3 or a 4 out of 10 for difficulty for vocabulary, not too difficult at all. And finally, the length of this book is 300 pages exactly. This is a hardcover illustrated edition, so I think if you get... So what I mean by illustrated is there's many pages, there's not many pages, there's some pages every, I say 15 to 20 to 25 pages after, where there's a little illustrations of what's going on in the page beside it. And I think if you get the non-illustrated version, it'll be like 290, 285 pages length, but this is the illustrated edition, 300 pages exactly. Not long at all. Took me about 5 days of reading a lot every single day. I think today is Sunday, and I read about 100 pages today. I couldn't put this book down. I just had to know who the murderer was. I had my hunches, but you know, you don't really know until you read the last few pages of the book. And I liked it. I liked trying to figure out who it was, who it could have been. A lot of things when I was reading, when they were also investigating the crime in this book, a lot of things I didn't pick up. So I was like, oh, you know, it makes you think. It makes you smarter in a way, in looking for little details here and there in future things, in everyday life even. But yeah, so Joyland, once again, by Stephen King. This was my first ever Stephen King book, and I highly, highly enjoyed it. I will definitely be reading some of his other novels in the future. This is a very good first book if you've never read a Stephen King book. It's published in 2012. It's fairly recent. But yeah, if you have never read a Stephen King book, I highly recommend reading this. I do have it, but I've been very reluctant on reading it as I already watched the 2 movies, but maybe I'll give it a shot one day. But yeah, guys, once again, 5 out of 5 stars. Highly recommend you guys go get this book, go read it. It's on sale on Amazon right now for about 12 bucks Canadian. It should be on sale still, hardcover. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out.